Hey everybody, it's Hans here, shop manager and fly fishing guide with Angler's Covey. We're going to go over my egg pattern that has recently been accepted by Umpqua. It's called the Sunnyside Up. This was developed because there are not a whole lot of heavy egg patterns on the market, and really this was keyed towards Euro nymphing, so it works great as an anchor fly. So it's been absolute game changer for me. I fish this, basically it's my only egg pattern I fish these days. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, we're going to start off with an Umpqua parroted jig. This is the XC210BL in a size 16. This one is going to take the 3.0 millimeter jig bomb in color orange. There's really only one material for this fly. It's going to be this Eggstacy Nano. We're going to do this one in cheese, and I'm going to use Veevus 16-aught in this light yellow color. So first we're going to go ahead and just get our thread started on the hook shank here on the flat portion of the hook. We're just going to build a little thread base to start out with, and then trim the tag. Now we want to build up a thread base enough to hold the bead so it doesn't slide around on the hook shank. So I'm going to put just a little more thread down here. Okay, see how it holds the bead on top of the hook shank? That's what we're looking for. And we want the front edge of the bead to line up with the bend in the jig portion of this hook shank. Right there. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do X-wraps underneath the bead. And this is going to hold that bead in place. So I'm going to do about 15 of them. Put that bead back on top. Then I'm going to switch directions and do 15 on the rear side. And then I'm going to take a few wraps just around the bead itself. This is all just to help keep the bead posted on top of the hook shank. Okay, and then we'll do a couple more X wraps on the underside just to keep everything nice and neat here. And then end with your thread on the back side of the bead. We're going to come in with some super glue right here, Fly Tire Z-Mint. We're going to hit all of those thread wraps with some super glue. And I'm purposely going to get some of it on the bead as well, and that's going to help this Eggstacy Nano stick to the bead. Make sure you get a little back here so you don't pull that Nano out when you start tugging on it. Okay, I'm going to come in with the Nano now, and I'm going to pull some of the material away from the core to expose it. Okay, you can see there we got part of that core exposed. I'm going to grab that with my thread now, hit that with 5 or 6 solid wraps. We don't want it pulling out. And then I'm going to jump my thread in front of that bead and throw in a half hitch. If you don't half hitch, your thread is going to want to tend to fall off the hook shank. Okay, thread sitting in front of the hook shank. Now this is the most important part of this fly. It's how you wrap this stuff to get full coverage on the underside. So I'm going to first start pulling that Eggstacy Nano towards myself. We'll go under the hook shank, in front of the bead, over the hook shank, and then around just the bead. Okay, and then we're going to do that again. So I'm going to come under the hook shank, in front of the bead, over the hook shank, around the bead. We're going to continue with this process till we get full coverage. Under the hook shank, over the hook shank, around the bead. Same on the other side. Check to make sure you get full coverage. If you do, we're going to end by pulling this Nano directly towards the hook eye. I'm going to come up and grab that with my thread here. I'm going to give it 3 solid wraps, do a couple wraps in front, do another couple wraps on top, and then we're going to whip finish. Okay, now we'll cut off the thread. Once you've got your thread trimmed, we're going to come in and nick off this Eggstacy Nano as close as we possibly can. And I like to come in with my fingernails and try to shove that whip finish up into that Nano. This is going to give us that nice round egg shape. And then you can pull this Eggstacy from the rear towards the bead. That'll help just round everything out. And there you've got the Sunnyside Up. Alright, so that's it for the Sunnyside Up. It's a great European nymphing egg pattern, which there's not a whole lot of those on the market, and the whole key there is the weight. You can use this as an anchor fly to help get your whole rig down. And it works great as a lead fly on like a traditional indicator setup as well. So we have all the materials here at Angler's Covey. Come on in the shop, we'd be more than happy to help you find them. And stay tuned for more fly tying videos on the Bug of the Month.